Alright, hi everybody, it's Bonka922. Just watched, oh, here it is, episode 100, I know this is very late, excuse me that it's very late. You know, this came out Friday and I'm doing it now, Sunday, or after Sunday. Fairy Tale, episode 123. This one was obviously the Fairy Tale X791, 7 years later. It's just like, anybody who hasn't read the manga chapter, this is new to you. Everybody who's seen this chapter, bit by bit by bit, and in fact, everything was it was as if I was reading the chapter. That's how actually, this was actually pretty bit by bit, perfect scene by scene. So, we get the beginning of the episode, obviously, we get Romeo. He's looking in the sea with Ibiska and Alzak to his back and saying that they need to go and so on and so forth. And you know, and Ibiska wants to tell him a few words and he says no, don't. So, and then they leave that area and we go and we see the guild. Reading the chapter, I didn't know exactly where the Fairy Tale Guild was when I read that chapter. They're in the Hicks. They're not even in the town. They're in some fucking countryside with like roosters and chickens and shit. Oh man, it was really bad. That was really bad. Really, really, really bad. It was really bad. Oh my god. So basically that's the situation, and we get Makao is an old man. Oh god, he's so old. And Wakabe. Man, without Natsu and the others there, Fairy Tale is not the same. Oh, it's not the same. And basically, it's just like, you know, it's just like from the chapter. Exactly, bit by bit, what happened. You know, obviously, you see Droy and Jet. Droy's fat as hell. And Rita's, he's so skinny, he's so freaking skinny. Oh, man. And that's the story, and then eventually what happens, these fuckers, the fucking new guild, Twilight Ogre, asking him for pay, and he said, and then that's basically what happened, you know the story. And he said he was going to pay them next month, and they start trashing up the place and shit, and it was like really bad. And at one point Joyce says, oh, Levy's not coming back, and everyone's got this look of complete despair. And then at one point, the clincher of the episode, in my opinion, was when he had his sketchbook fell over, and all the pictures of Lucy, Gaju, Natsu, Makarov, Loxus, Gildarts, Mira Jane, Lisana, everybody that was on the island show up. And everyone's like crying their eyes out. And then I think it was Wakabe who says, maybe it's time to close up. And everybody's protesting, no, no, no! And then he's like, and then the worst of it was when Macao, if I'm saying his name right, says, since then I haven't seen Romeo smiled once. Goes to show you how down in the he was, until, and we see a scene with them walking through town, Romeo, Alzak, and Biska. And then we get it. Then all of a sudden, out of the blue, comes Blue Pegasus on the Christina. Version 2, they called it. And here comes Chia, and he falls on the ground and says, man! He's there with his hair is freaking long as shit. And then we get Eve and the other two. I forgot the other two's name. Excuse me, I forgot the other two's name. And they're polarizing with the two females in Fairy Tale, the only two of them, and and basically saying, "Oh, to stop with them, we didn't come here for fun." Uh, um, she has said, and they're explaining to them that um I forgot the name of it, what they called, they specifically called a specific name. It was called the Thirion magic particles something in the area of Tenro Island. So that's when they obviously they tell them to go to these coordinates and so on and so forth. And they're looking for it and looking for it and looking for it. And I think at one point Biska and Alzak have a conversation saying, "Oh, maybe we should have asked Romeo to come," and decided, "Nah, it's better not." And then he, and that's what happened. And basically then, all of a sudden, out of the blue, Mavis, she's standing on water. And then all of a sudden, it starts rising. Pretty cool. I like the whole, how it was like a shield around it and shit. It looked pretty cool, that whole thing. And that's what happened. And then they basically they get to the island, they run, Jet's running, speeding right through to get to it, and he sees Natsu on the ground, and he says, "Natsu," and then we go from that to the guild, and Romeo's obviously saying there's no way they'll be back, and so on and so forth. And he has, very little hope that they will be back, and then Twilight Ogre shows up again, saying, "Oh, the master doesn't want that. You're gonna pay us now." And that's when Romeo steps up to fight him. And he's got the same magic that his father has. And he's gonna fight him, and then he can't bring it out, and that's when the guy's about to hit him over the head with this mallet. Out of the blue. Boom! Kick right in his face, and he's thrown. And then all of a sudden, you see all these different kinds of arms coming out. You see ice, an iron, steel beam coming out, a sword, and then you see a giant fist. And then you see Natsu smiling, his big smile, and Makio. It's like, everyone's shocked that they're there, and as they're there, they're explaining what happened. And basically, the gist of it is that the spell that I forgot the name of the spell, but it was a defensive spell, one of the 3 great spells in Fairy Tale. The second being glitter, fairy glitter, and the first one being fairy log. Now, it wasn't an offensive spell. It was not an offensive spell. It was a defensive spell. And basically, what Mavis did was she used the power that they had. When they were holding hands? She used that power to create the shield. And basically, she's just a ghost. She's a spirit. And I'm wondering if it's the equivalent of a celestial spirit. But I don't think it is. And then they're all back there, and they're all having a good time. And then you just get the scene with Romeo, and he just starts to, and then Natsu looks at him, he's like, "Oh, you got big, And he just starts crying his eyes out, and Mako is like, "Oh," he's crying too. Everyone just cried their eyes, and Romeo's crying his eyes out. And that's pretty much what went down. Now, the only, and it explains, and I think I knew this from reading the chapter and doing the review, the reason why it took 7 years was because this spell is very powerful that Mavis used. It does not go away until 7 years. And unfortunately, it's a real fucking shame. Now, this is the problem with everyone's beef on the 7-time year skip. It's a real problem. The problem is when you do a time skip, the characters, the main characters of the show were the upper tier people. They should have changed somehow. And Hero did not do that. He didn't change Loxus or anybody. They remained the same. They were the same as they were before it happened and after. And that's the problem. What I think Hero should have done was this. Have the spell, but allow people in the fairy tale to move. So, like, in other words, what he could have done, I don't know how logistic this is. During the 7 years that they're in stasis, they're able to move around. So they heal their wounds, they're fine, and they're able to move around. And Natsu, he starts having battles with Gaju, let's say, and Loxus, and practicing, and they start practicing using their magic on each other, or so on and so forth. But that didn't happen, obviously. Obviously, Hero decided, let's not do that, let me do this time arc thing. So, I can see the problem with the 7-time year skip. I see the problem. Now, next week, obviously, I'm going to give this a 3.5, because this is the 7-time year skip, and it was, it's, Also, they were mentioning that, Arcanagia has the power to destroy a whole country. Yeah, that was the only thing I asked. Now, next week's episode is basically Makarov going to Twilight Ogre and giving him a piece of his mind with Urza and I think Mirjane. And then we have Lucy walking around with Natsu. Now, this is another episode where we're going to see 7 years. This is the 7 years episode part where she finds out about her father. He died. Which is actually pretty funny, because when you think about it, last week's episode, she, after seeing Kana and Gildarts, she said, maybe I should make up with my father. So, that's gonna be another tearjerker, kind of. But, that's all there is to it. So, that's the story. But I think, moving on forward, what I'm going to be interesting to see is what Sting and Rogue look like. Because I think they got, I don't know, I'm wondering what color Sting's hair is. That might be interesting to see. But like I said, we'll see. See you guys later. Hopefully, people will get over the time skip. See you guys later.